Hello Year 2 and welcome back to yet another term. This term we are going to continue our topic with a geography theme. So what are we going to be homing in on at this time? We're going to be looking at maps most of the time. We are going to be finding out about different types of maps. We're going to be looking at symbols. We're going to be creating our own maps. So let's have a look at some of the things that we will be learning about. Can you recognise where this is? I hope you've guessed it. This is Charton Primary School. Yes, it's your school. And I took this image from Google Earth, something which is really, really brilliant. So cool. I suggest you have a look at it if you can, and you can go anywhere in the world. We went to St. Lucia yesterday and had a little look around beautiful islands. And today I'm going to look at Charton. So we can see the school, and this is what we call an aerial view because we're looking down. It's like a photograph. Now we could zoom in slightly. Oh no, I'm just taking it from another angle. What can you see? Can you see the playground? Can you see the car park? Can you spot Forest School? It isn't showing all the school grounds because we're very lucky and we have an enormous field and we have lots of other Forest School areas. But as you can see, there's the main pathway leading up to the school, and we can see the buildings. Can you guess which one you have your lunch in? Can you spot it? What about the computer building? Can you see that one? And can you see where our classroom is? Have a really good think as we walk into the school where these places are. And there's another view. You can get quite addicted to looking at Google Earth. It can be fun. So let's look at what we're actually going to be doing in our first lesson today. We're going to draw a simple sketch map. So we're also going to name different types of maps, see if we can think of what maps are used for and some of the key features that we find in a map. And also I want you to begin to compare the maps. What's good about them? What's useful about them? And finally, you're going to draw a map of somewhere which is familiar to you. So here are some keywords and some of the things that you might need to be using today when you draw your map. So here is our sketch map, and you're going to do something a little bit like this. On your sketch map, I want you to have a really good go at writing your own key. You will need to give your sketch map a title, and what would be really useful is on your sketch map, have a go at drawing a compass rose. It doesn't have to have all the points, but as long as it's got the main north, east, south and west. We've also just looked at some images which are aerial. That's a bird's eye view, as if we're looking down. And we're also going to be looking at map symbols, just a few today. So what do you already know about maps? Have a think. What do you actually know a map's used for? Can you actually tell me what is a map? Can you tell someone near you what a map is? And can you name, try and name 2 types of maps. We'll have another go at that in a moment. Can you name 2 key features of a map? That's 2 things that you will definitely find on a map. What would you find on a map? Have a think. Can you draw 2 map symbols and say what they show? If you remember what a map symbol is from your Year 1 learning. Now I have just mentioned this one, but can you remember the 4 main points of a compass? Sometimes you might think of a mnemonic to help you remember them. The one I like is never eat shredded wheat. But I know there's lots of other ones about naughty elephants squirting water. Can you remember what aerial view means? And can you name some of the main oceans of the world? Putting that one in there to see if you can remember any of your learning from last term. What oceans can you actually remember? So let's have a think. What is a map? Well, maps are very useful things, pictures that tell us where things are. There are lots of different types of maps. Can you think of the different types that there are? And who do you think uses a map? Why do we use them? Have you ever used a map before? You probably have and haven't even realised, because let's now have a look at the different types of maps. And there might be some maps that you thought, oh, I didn't realise I was using a map when I looked at this one. For hundreds of years, maps have helped people travel from one place to another. They are drawings of actual landscapes and places, and they usually use lines and symbols to represent real life objects like roads, fields, buildings. Now, these objects and things that you find on a map are things that are always there. They might be naturally always there, or they might be human features which they've been built, like a building or a house. But would you put your car parked outside? Would that go on your map? Or would you add cows in a field onto your map? No, you wouldn't. The things on your map have to be things that are there all the time. So there are different types of maps, from the simple sketch map, which you're going to try and do today, to road maps, and very, very detailed maps, which we call Ordnance Survey Maps, OS, of Great Britain. You might even have one of those at home. Here, I've had a real brainstorm of different types of maps that I could think of. I wonder if any of these are ones that you thought of too. So I had a street map, and you see up here I found a street map of Canterbury. How many different little tiny roads there are in Canterbury. You can see this one's not to scale, which means that the roads are not actually of the same size. Now here's the other one, the Ordnance Survey Map. An Ordnance Survey Map, they're brilliant. You can really fold them out, and they're really tricky to fold back again. When we're back at school, that might be something we can practice in our lessons, because it is quite a fun thing to undo a map, have a look at it, and then try and put it away again. Okay, other types of maps. We've got a weather map, something you might see when you're watching television or when you're looking on apps on your phones or tablets. And here's one which you may well have used before. The one I was thinking of is a map of a place that you visit. Like Howlett's Zoo has a map, often dotted around different types of the view of different places in the zoo, with an arrow saying you are here. And if you visit somewhere like Kent Life, they will give you, here's Kent Life, a map to show the basic route that you take through Kent Life and all the different buildings you can visit on the way. And then you've got your road map. These are just a few maps. There are maps of the world, maps of Britain, so many different types of maps. I wonder if you thought of any other ones. Here I've got a simple map. It's a map of a local area. It's not our local area, but look at what we've got on there, because this might help with the task that you've got to do today. So we've got some of the main streets, and can we see here we've got the compass rose showing the north, east, south and west. And on our streets we can see certain things that you will find, like shops. Here we've got a green area, which is the park. And can you see there are 3 symbols in the park? Now, to know what those symbols are, I would need to look at my key. And here we have a key right next to it. So I can see that this symbol, we could take a guess, is actually a telephone. This is a funny one. It looks like a capital A. But when I look down, it's actually the symbol for a park to show that this is a park area. What other clue have we got that it's a park area? Have you thought about the fact that it's coloured in green? Also, it has a litter bin. There we have it. So what other things can you spot on this map? Can you find the school? Here it is. What about a medical? I'm going to say that it's a doctor's surgery. What symbol do you think was used for that one? Here it is. It's like a cross, it's a cross, like the first aid cross. And here on this map, you've got a P for parking. There are also things like a bus stop. And if you look very closely, can you see down here, we can see a river. And again, when we look at the river, we have to think, well, it's coloured in blue, which makes sense really, doesn't it? Because water, blue, on your map. It makes it a lot more clear to the reader. So here we have a simple map with a key. We've also got the title to show where the map is. And that's very important when you draw your map today, that you give it a title to let me know and Miss Golding know where your map is of. Here we've got the compass, the different colours to show things like green for the forests and blue for water. And we have our map symbols, which are really important on a map. And obviously the key, which is called a legend on an Ordnance Survey map. So a key or a legend. And here's your sketch map, the sort of thing that you might do today. Now, in your sketch map, I'd like you to include as much detail as possible. But it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to put everything in there. This is meant to be something just so you can show that you are looking down on an area that you are familiar with. So this one here is the map that we've just been looking at, but it's a sketch. It's got all the things. It's still got the key. Here's the key, sorry. We've still got the key. You've still got the park, which is green, and the blue river. And here's the medical centre and the school over here. So it's all still here. And here we go, the compass rose. It's all on there. It's just to include as much detail as possible, but it's been drawn and coloured in. So I'd like you to have a go at sketching a map. Think about what colours you're going to use to show the trees and the grass or any other areas in your map. Can you draw a key to show some of the main features that your map includes? And can you draw a map of, this is me giving you some ideas. You could draw a map of Charlton, either using some of the maps that I've put on the activity sheet, or you could have a look at Google Earth and zoom in on an area that best to do an area you are familiar with. It might be where you live. It might be Charlton School. So use the information I've given you, or use Google Earth, zoom in and see if you can make a sketch of that map. You'll also find on the activity sheet I have put an aerial view and a map of an area in Charlton, which is down on the green. You might want to do that as your sketch because it's got the village, it's got the green. You could put in the telephone box, which is our little special library, and the shop on the green, the park, the village hall. There's a little bit of a river there, I think, in that part, the railway station. See if you can find those things on that map, and maybe that's the map you want to have a go at sketching. It's up to you which one you do. I look forward to seeing your sketches. Have fun doing it, and I look forward to seeing them later. Bye bye for now.